Good afternoon, students. So today we're going to go over reading the text for Sharing the American Dream, and we're also going to go over the graphic organizer, okay? So let's go and read the story first. Oh, Miss G is so silly. Ha ha ha. She already did that. So here's the text, Sharing the American Dream by General Colin Powell. So over 200 years ago, a group of volunteers gathered on this sacred spot and found a new nation. In perfect words, they voiced their dreams and aspirations of an imperfect world. They pledged their lives, their fortune, and their sacred honor to secure inalienable rights given by God for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Pledged that they would provide them to all who would inhabit this new nation. They look down on us today in spirit with pride for all we have done to keep faith with their ideals and their sacrifices. Yet despite all we have done, this is still an imperfect world. We still live in an imperfect society, despite more than 2 centuries of moral and material progress. Despite all our efforts to achieve a more perfect union, there are still Americans who are not sharing in the American dream. There are still Americans who are not sharing in the American dream. There are still Americans who wonder, is the journey there for them? Is the dream there for them, or whether it is at best a dream deferred. The great American poet Langston Hughes talked about a dream deferred, and he said, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? For too many young Americans, that dream deferred does sag like a heavy load that's pushing them down into the ground, and they wonder if they can rise up with that load. And as we see too often in our daily life, it does explode in violence, in youngsters falling dead, shot by other youngsters. It does explode, and it has the potential to explode our society. So today we gather here today to pledge that the dream must no longer be deferred, and it will never, as long as we can do anything about it, become a dream denied. That is why we are here, my friends. We gather here to pledge that those of us who are more fortunate will not forsake those who are less fortunate. We are a compassionate and caring people. We are a generous people. We will reach down, we will reach back, we will reach across to help our brothers and sisters who are in need. Above all, we pledge to reach out to the most vulnerable members of the American family, our children. As you've heard, up to 15 million young Americans today are at risk. They're at risk of growing up unskilled, unlearned, or even worse, unloved. They're at risk of growing up physically or psychologically abused. They're at risk of growing up addicted to the pathologies and the poisons of the street. They're at risk of bringing up children into the world before they themselves have grown up. They're at risk of never growing up at all. 15 million young lives are at risk and may not make it unless we care enough to do something about it. In terms of numbers, the task may seem staggering, but if we look at the simple needs that these children have, then the task is manageable. The goal is achievable. We know what they need. They need an adult caring person in their life, a safe place to learn and grow, a healthy start, marketable skills, and an opportunity to serve so that early in their lives they learn the virtue of service so that they can reach out and touch another young American in need. These are the basic needs that we commit ourselves today. We promise today. We are making America's promise today to provide to those children in need. This is a grand alliance. It is an alliance between government and corporate America and nonprofit America, between our institutions of faith, but especially between individual Americans. You have heard the governors and the mayors, and you'll hear more in a little minute, that says the real answer is for each and every one of us, not just here in Philadelphia, but across this land, for each and every one of us to reach out and touch someone in need. All of us can spare 30 minutes a week or an hour a week. All of us can give an extra $1. All of us can touch someone who doesn't look like us, who doesn't speak like us, who may not dress like us, but by God needs us in their lives. And that's what we all have to do to keep this going. And so there's a spirit of Philadelphia here today. There's a spirit of Philadelphia that we saw yesterday in Germantown. There's a spirit of Philadelphia that will leave Philadelphia tomorrow afternoon and spread it across this whole nation. 30 governors will go back and spread it. Over 100 mayors will go back and spread it. And hundreds of other leaders around this country who are watching will go back and spread it. Corporate America will spread it, nonprofits will spread it, and each and every one of us will spread it because it has to be done. We have no choice. We cannot leave these children behind if we are going to meet the dreams of our founding fathers. So let us all join in this great crusade. Let us make sure that no child in America is left behind, and no child in America has their dream deferred or denied. We can do it. We can do it because we are Americans. We are Americans who draw our strength from this place. We are Americans who believe to the depth of our hearts that this is not a land that was put here by historic accident. It was a land that was put here by divine providence, who told us to be good stewards of the land, but especially to be good stewards of each other. Divine providence gave us this land, blessed it, and told us always to be proud to call it America. And so we go forward. Let's save our children. Now that we've read the text, we're going to go into our modules and answer the graphic organizer based on the text. So make sure you keep the text open because we're going to go back and forth. So in your modules, you're going to go and see all the way down here, Sharing the American Dream Graphic Organizer. So this is what it looks like when it opens up. Students, today we are going to work on the Sharing the American Dream Graphic Organizer. This graphic organizer is based on a reading of Sharing the American Dream, which we just read. So this assignment is worth 10 points and is due before midnight on December 3rd, which is today. So when you click on it, this is what it looks like. So first thing Miss G is going to do is she is going to put her name. So you make sure that you put your name. Don't put my name. That'd be so silly. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put today's date. So today is the 3rd. Finally, the period, which is whatever period you have. So now, the argument is that we need to help others achieve the American dream. So we need to find two pieces of evidence that support that argument. So let's go in here and let's find some evidence real quick. So I see that in paragraph 6 actually, it talks about the 15 million young Americans that are at risk, and I think this is a good piece of evidence. So you're going to copy the last sentence in paragraph 6, and you're going to come over here and you're going to paste it. But make sure you put who said it. So I'm going to put said, Powell. Now, we got to find another piece of evidence. So I'm going to look over here, and I see that people need a safe place to grow, and we should share in the American dream because eventually young people are going to have to help other young people in the future. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put stated, Powell. So for the first one, what Miss G did was she copied the last sentence in paragraph 6 and pasted it. And then here she copied the last paragraph, the sentence in paragraph 7 and pasted it. So if you need to take a picture of this, you can pause the video and copy this or take a picture of this. So now we need to find evidence for we do not need to help others achieve the American dream. Because this is an argument, we need to make sure that we have both sides of the argument, and that's called the counterclaim. So we're going to come over here, and we are going to figure out where it says that we do not need to help other people. So I see in number 4, it says that what happens is when we do not help others achieve the dream, that sometimes people kill each other, and so you can't help others achieve the American dream if you're killing each other. So you're going to come over here, and we're going to go and paste it. And the next thing we're going to do is put declared, Powell. So we need to find our last piece of evidence, and the last piece of evidence is the first sentence in number 7, because it says that in terms of numbers, the task may seem staggering, so that means it's very difficult. So we're going to put explained, Powell. So at this point, we got the first sentence from number 4, the last sentence of number 4, and then the first sentence in number 1. So at this point, if you need to pause the video to copy this down or take a picture of it, pause the video. So now that we've done that, we're going to go and answer these questions on the bottom. So, why does the author begin with an allusion to the Declaration of Independence? How does this strengthen the argument? So, an allusion is a reference, and the Declaration of Independence is a document that the United States wrote when they wanted to declare their independence from Britain, because we used to be owned by Britain. And so the author references the Declaration of Independence because in the Declaration of Independence it makes promises that all Americans, no matter your race, your gender, where you come from, you have the right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that strengthens the argument, because the argument is we should help others achieve the American dream. So now we're going to come over here and we are going to go and write our answer. But before we write our answer, we're going to come over here in the first paragraph and we're going to copy the last sentence. So copy the last sentence, but don't paste it because we need to write our answer. So we're going to write the author, and we're going to put his name, Colin Powell, begins with an allusion to the Declaration of Independence when he says, comma, and we're going to paste it. So what Miss G is going to do is she's going to highlight it so you know what she pasted. So the next thing is, this reference strengthens his argument that we should help others achieve the American dream. The American dream is the belief that all Americans have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So at this point, you can pause the video and you can go and copy this. So the next question asks us to select a word or phrase from the Declaration of Independence that is relevant and supports the text's central argument. So now we need to pick which of the following words, life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness, and how does it support the argument that we need to help others achieve the American dream. So life means that you have the right to live your life. You know that you have a life. Liberty means freedom. You know that you have the freedom to do what you want when you want it. And the pursuit of happiness means that you can go and pursue what makes you happy. So I'm going to pick the pursuit of happiness, okay? So over here, I'm going to write the phrase pursuit of happiness supports the text's central argument that we need to help others achieve the American dream because the American dream allows everyone who comes here with a chance at pursuing happiness. So that is our answer for number 2. So at this point in the video, if you need to pause the video to copy down number 2, you can go and pause the video and copy down number 2. So here's our third question. How does Langston Hughes' poem, A Dream Deferred, support Colin Powell's central idea? Why would Powell choose to include this poem instead of just saying the dream must no longer be deferred? So, in Langston Hughes' poem, A Dream Deferred, he goes and he talks about how when we don't follow our dreams, our motivations, our aspirations, our goals, there are consequences for that. And so this supports Colin Powell's central idea that we should help others achieve their dream, the American dream. So Powell, he doesn't just quote it, he says the entire poem, and this gives an impact. So that's what we're going to write. But before we write it, I need you to copy the entire third paragraph. So you're going to copy the entire third paragraph. And now we're going to start writing. Langston Hughes' poem, A Dream Deferred, supports Colin Powell's central idea that we need to help others achieve the American dream. Because when we don't help others, there are consequences. So now, do you remember how Miss G went and she told you guys to copy that third paragraph? Well, we're going to put the third paragraph right here. And then we're going to keep on writing. Colon, Powell chose to include this poem instead of just quoting a single line because it has more of an impact to hear the entire poem and apply it to the American dream. And so at this point, we are done with the assignment. So if you need to pause the video, but I hope that you submit this tonight before midnight, okay? Have a great day.